Hey, what's going on, guys? I just want to speak a little bit about finding your purpose as a man and kind of 5 points that happened in my life that kind of helped me figure out my purpose and get to where I wanted to be at this current time. And my shit was definitely not linear, kind of all over the place, and I wanted to speak about that today just to give some encouragement to some guys that maybe don't know exactly what they're trying to do and then maybe feel a little discouraged that they don't. Um, just kind of explain how it went for me. So, getting out of high school, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I know the little pamphlet thing or whatever where they have you write down like what you're gonna do in the future, your future plans and all that. There was some crazy bullshit on there, like I don't know, I'm gonna go to this college or whatever and do this major, and that ended up not being true at all. I remember looking back on it, like, oh, all right, that wasn't anything. So, didn't really know what I was trying to do. I ended up working fast food for a year, while kind of thinking about it, figuring out my stuff. I bought my first car while I was working fast food. I worked at McDonald's. Um, and ultimately, I ended up thinking about what I liked to do, what I enjoyed. And at the time, I knew I wasn't completely certain, but I knew I at least loved fitness. I loved working out and doing that sort of thing. So I was like, oh, I'm going to be a personal trainer. So I started looking for, college programs that kind of did that sort of thing. And I ended up going to community college for a fitness and rec degree. But I'll speak kind of on more related to that in a bit. But that's kind of the first point in my life that contributed to it. But the second was having kind of low confidence in myself. Like, that made it difficult for me to figure out my purpose and where I was going and doing things for myself. Um, Definitely high school, my confidence level was pretty low. Even getting into community college and that sort of thing, wasn't doing too well as far as like in the ladies realm and things like that. And just being confident enough that I can go up and shake someone's hand and look them in the eye and, just talk. Definitely had issues with that, and just overall believing in myself and actually like thinking that I could do the things that I really wanted to do. Um, so honestly, what you guys need to get to with the confidence and finding your purpose is riding that line between being cocky and being confident. So you don't want to be a cocky, arrogant asshole, but you want to be confident to the point where you're riding that line, to where you get a little bit cocky and then you realize you are, so you reel it back a little bit and you're back on that confident side of the line. I ride that line now. I ride that line on the regular. I realize maybe I'm being a little bit arrogant, maybe I'm being cocky, then I reel it back. But I'm always keeping that confident, nature about myself now. No more of that freaking weak bullshit that I was doing before. So confidence goes a long way when it comes to finding your purpose. Just being able to get out there and take a risk, take a chance. Say, hey, I'm gonna fucking do this, and we'll just see how it pans out. You gotta have that mindset. Um, Third thing that kind of happened in my life. So I was working as a trainer after I got out of college, doing personal training. I worked at LA Fitness. I worked at another gym as well. Really enjoyed that job. Got to work with tons of people of different nationalities, people from different walks of life. Pretty dope job for sure. Probably one of my favorites I ever had. Um, and really, what came with that though was realizing that I wanted to be able to do more than what I was currently doing. So, I really enjoyed learning about the human body and helping people correct like deficiencies and things like that. And I realized I wanted to have like a bigger role. So it was at that point that I was like, all right, I'm going to go back to college and get my bachelor's degree. I had my associates at the time. So the problem with that, though, became that I basically went back to school, and personal training at that point did not work very well with my school schedule. So I remember at times I was living off campus. I would get up in the morning, drive to the gym, train someone for like an hour, I don't know, from like 6 a.m. to 7. I would leave, go to class, fuck around in Brockport or whatever, that was where I went for a little bit. And then I would come back to the gym in the afternoon and I would train more people. And the thing with that is it got to be where it was hardly worth my time even doing that anymore. Like the pay to, amount of driving differential that I was doing was, and just the time that I was using up, it was hardly even worth it. I didn't have time to do like some of the stuff I had to do for college and things like that. I had to do clinicals while I was in college as well. So, it wasn't helping me. So ultimately, I decided I was going to have to invest in myself. I was going to have to take one for the team, so to speak, and just get a regular, lower paying, like hourly job. Personal training paid pretty well, but I was like, I'm just going to have to freaking do it. So I worked several different jobs while I was in college. I've had a lot of different ones, actually. McDonald's, Lattimore Physical Therapy, LA Fitness, that was before. McDonald's was the entire time I was in community college. Went back, worked at Walmart, Olive Garden, worked for a paving company. That's hard work. Dick's Sporting Goods, and some other under-the-table stuff as well. Needless to say, I worked a ton of different jobs, pretty much all low-paying, and that was definitely kind of a low point for me because I had to give up the job, personal training, that I was actually doing pretty well at. But that's just how it goes, guys. Sometimes you're going to have to invest in yourself and realize that you might have to momentarily, or at least for a time, take one for the team to better yourself for the future. Kind of point number 4, with finding your purpose, your paths might change. You might think you're going to do something and then realize that you want to try something else, like throughout that time period. So my college major at Brockport was athletic training. So like sports medicine related kinds of things. And I was also an ROTC cadet. So my whole plan was actually to do athletic training and then get into the Army as an Army physical therapist after I commissioned out of ROTC or whatever. Oftentimes people will kind of double dip and have an athletic training like certification and then as well as be a physical therapist. And the Army only has physical therapy as a job function. So that was my initial plan, was to do that. And then things kind of changed down the road. I ultimately ended up commissioning into the Army as active duty as an infantry officer. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm actually in Columbus, Georgia. I'm about to start IBOLC, otherwise known as Infantry Basic Officer Leadership Course. So that's a pretty far cry. Like I went from doing sports medicine stuff to doing infantry. So it's totally different. That wasn't the original plan. I wasn't even planning on going active duty for a bit. The original plan was to do something medical, like physical therapy. But things kind of changed, and I realized that I kind of want to do, which is okay. Like, you're gonna realize that maybe you want to switch up your plan a little bit. Um, Ultimately, like, I had long-term goals that I wanted to meet. Commissioning into the army was one of those goals. But what you might find is that little, like, facets about that long-term goal change a little bit. It doesn't mean like the overall encompassing goal is still the same, but small things about it might change, and you just have to be willing to roll with that and make those changes as needed. Um, so what I'm trying to get across, guys, it's not a linear process. It's not. It doesn't have to be, especially for me. Like, my whole college career and like actually getting into what I'm doing now was not linear in the slightest. It was like a year off, figuring out what I'm doing, and then go back, and then go back again. Um, Ultimately, I graduated college at 25 years old. So, you know, it's not. And if you're older than that and going to college, then so be it. Like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, it just means your path's a little bit different, and it means you're gonna have some different experiences than maybe a traditional student would have, or someone, whatever your situation is. Um, so that shouldn't bother you at all. Finally, the last thing that's helped me in finding my purpose is just literally believing that I'm the freaking man. Like, it goes back to kind of that confidence, but you've got to believe it yourself if anybody else is going to believe it about you. If anybody else is going to look at you and be like, oh, that dude or that girl over there can freaking, is great at this, or they can freaking, do this better than anyone else. Like, if they're going to believe that you're the man or you're the woman, or, however you want to word it, you have to believe it first. You have to walk and talk like you're the man at all times. You always got to present yourself as the man. Walk with your chest high. Don't be sagging and slouching forward, and speak with authority. Look people in the eye when you're talking to them. Shake their hand firmly. This goes back to kind of riding that line between cocky and confident, but you really have to have it. You have to believe in yourself and that you're capable of doing what you want to do before anybody else believes in you. But that's the gist of it, guys. Just wanted to break that down, kind of give you my viewpoints on it. Subscribe, comment. See you guys later.